Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to the first ever episode of the Drawing Board podcast. Cover all things football and a lot of things that are Texas related. I'm Sam, and I'm alongside Alexis, Tovar, and Casey Rice. How are you guys doing today?
What up?
Great, how are you?
Doing absolutely fantastic today. Very, very excited for our go round here. You know what? Let's just jump straight into it. Let's jump into our best plays of the day, the golden ticket plays. Let's get it started.
All right, I'm gonna jump in and go ahead and say the Hail Murray that happened this boy. Let me
That was pretty awesome.
you. Hopkins, 3 defenders beside him.
I mean, there's so many nicknames coming out besides the Hail Murray for that. They're calling it DeAndre Hop Win, DeAndre Hop King, DeAndre Moskins. I mean, everything. That was the most crazy play and that's in a time where we see all these weird plays, like where they do a freaking twist in the Super Bowl and they snap it to the fullback and he runs in, like that was probably one of the greatest plays I've seen in a while. And as a Kyler Murray fantasy owner, it made me feel good inside.
A lot of people don't give Murray a lot of credit,
personally, Casey, I'll ask for your input after this, but fun fact, Kyler Murray is now the first QB since Cam Newton to run for 10-plus rushing touchdowns in a season. This is only week 11. Like, we haven't started week 11 yet, and he has 10 rushing touchdowns at this point. It is surprising how he's not even really in that QB conversation, maybe that MVP conversation. It's definitely a little bit frustrating because I do think he's done a better job with this team than people. I feel like it's between Russell Wilson and Kyler Murray. Casey, what do you think about that?
Murray's Hail Mary, which of course everyone knows that's amazing. Yeah, I mean that's probably like the best play that we're gonna see like all season, in my opinion.
Alrighty, let's talk some more stuff. How about Ronald Jones? This is who I want to highlight. 98 yards to the house in the 46-28 win over the Panthers. What do you guys think about Rojo getting his mojo?
But honestly, dude, that was amazing.
98 yards, yeah. I mean that doesn't mean that Tom Brady's like back from that play though. I mean I've heard a lot of people saying from that game, I mean after that play that he's coming back, but I no. That was, I mean, the whole game was about that play, not Tom Brady.
I believe though he was the number 1 fantasy quarterback this week, so he actually did incredibly well.
He did do well, but is he back? No, he's not back in my opinion.
Who is the player of the game, not based off of stats, but based off of impact, which I think we both know who it is. It's Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray, not only a ginormous fantasy day, the number 2 QB on the week, but he was so incredibly good against that solid Bills defense. Once again, 2 rushing touchdowns, only 1 passing, but here's the thing on the passing touchdown. People forget that he had to throw across his body. He was running this way. He's right-handed, so he had to turn and throw it like that. It is an incredibly hard throw to make. He put it in the perfect spot for DeAndre Hopkins to capitalize off of that play. So I think we can move on here. Why don't we move on to Texans-Browns? My beloved Texans lost 7-10 to the Browns. Once again, probably another game that was not that exciting to watch.
It's so boring. Oh my God, I was dreading watching this game.
Well, fantasy-wise, if you were an owner of any of these running backs, Kareem Hunt, 104 on the ground with 3 receptions for 28, and Nick Chubb, 126 on the ground and a touchdown, but those are all on the ground. This makes me a little bit concerned for Nick Chubb fantasy-wise, although there was only 3 catches with all of the Cleveland running backs, so it may just be a down receiving game for the running backs there. But which running back for the Cleveland Browns do you think is going to get the player of the match, I'm going to go with Nick Chubb, even though both of the running backs got about the same amount of yards. In fact, Kareem Hunt had more yards, but in this low-scoring game, you're going to need all the points you can get, and the impact plays from Nick Chubb with the touchdown, the only touchdown in that game, basically.
Literally why.
Well, no, Texans had a touchdown, too.
Well, they did, but I am I think I would go with Chubb.
Yeah, I think Chubba Bubba,
they're
player of the match.
Kind of like there, yeah, but I think I would go with Chubb.
Alrighty, next match. The Eagles were leading the division at a solid, and I mean a solid 2-5-1.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus. It is a train wreck in the freaking NFC East. Why? Yeah, Daniel Jones was actually the number 7 quarterback on the week because apparently he can run.
He can run. That boy can run.
That boy can run.
He runs.
He also,
but he can run. I love it.
Yeah, like before we were thinking pocket passer, and Daniel Jones was like, no, big boy, me can run.
And just watching him do it too, because he's just so big.
Daniel Jones, an absolute star, competing with Wayne Gallman. Wayne Gallman, the third string sleeper, who somehow always succeeds in fantasy but never succeeds at football. Like every week that Wayne Gallman plays, it is a massive, like, his fantasy football averages, like, probably, like, for every game that he's played, are probably, like, ridiculously off the chart. Yep. Once again, the most sad sentence that has ever been spoken by a human, that Wayne Gallman may be a superior option to basically anything.
Honestly, you're right. You're right, though.
Oh, I'm excited to talk about this one. Washington, Detroit. A game, once again, that we were expecting to be
Boy. I honestly do want to mention, though, DeAndre, he jumped and did a major hurdle alert on this game. I do want to give him props for that. That boy can jump. So.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Swift, the Swift boy, DeAndre Swift, 81 rushing yards, 5 receptions for 68 yards, and a receiving touchdown. Number 4 running back on the week. Alrighty, now we're going to the absolute barn burner. The Bucs and the Panthers. They were fantastic, running on all cylinders on offense.
I mean, is Brady back, y'all? Like,
no.
Is he back?
Ooh, I want to hear this. Casey, you don't chime in on NFL, so I want to hear this.
I don't chime in on NFL, but I do not think Brady is back. I don't, because, I mean, his last like few games that he's played, he's been awful. For him to come back on this game, of course, he doesn't want to lose against a team that's 3-6. Well, now a team that's 4-6. But I mean, yes, he had some good plays. I will say that. But do I think he's back? No. This is like what typical Brady. He shines for a team to win against a team that has been doing terrible all season. But who are they playing next game though? They're playing the Rams. They're playing the Rams.
That would be certainly like.
If he pulls through next game against the Rams, maybe Brady's back. But for me, my forecast on Brady is no. I don't see him being the shining quarterback he used to be.
Alrighty, he's actually had, in the last 4 weeks, he's been playing great. He has over 1,000 passing yards. In fact, he has 1,200 passing yards, 9 passing touchdowns, 3 interceptions, which all came in that game against the Saints, which, you know what, you're going to have games like that no matter what. And he's rushed for a total of, I know this number's so high, 2 yards, but get this, 2 touchdowns on the ground. He's gotten the signature Tom Brady sneak in, a total of 11 touchdowns over the last 4 weeks for Tom Brady. I'm saying it right now. He's scoring just under 3 touchdowns a game. He is maybe he's not back, but he is ready to go and win a Super Bowl. I'm going to say that. He's ready to go win a Super Bowl.
Another one. Yeah.
You need to get the lucky sevens and then just quit.
No, I don't see Tom Brady at the Super Bowl. I do see Pat Mahomes at the Super Bowl this year, but I don't see Tom Brady.
Tom Brady, player of the game, I think. Even though Rojo had a big one, Tom Brady threw for 3 passing touchdowns and a rushing touchdown. Number 1 QB on the weekend. I don't think you can dispute that.
No.
Casey can, but you know.
No, you can't. I mean, he did play really well, but I don't think he's back, and I don't see him going to the Super Bowl this year.
Well, then you probably don't see him going to the Super Bowl for the rest of his career, because I feel like once he's done with the season, Brady's out.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, without a doubt.
Like, Brady's going to reap some of that extra contract cash. Like, yeah. Either way, player of the match and player of the game would be the Buccaneers' Tom Brady, and we're going to move on. And I just want to say I was on the Steelers bandwagon forever, and eventually I realized I needed to become, a real Texas fan. So I came and started rooting for the Texans, and that was this year, right?
And now look at you.
I mean, Alexis, let's be real. Are you a Cowboys fan or a Houston Texas fan?
Man, if I had to choose both of them, I would be a Cowboys. Like, hurts me even saying that right now. But man, y'all make sure Rudy don't hear me saying that, because I cannot.
Wait, all right. I'm talking about this right here, and Casey, most definitely chime in. You're the college football person. Mm-hmm. Garrett Gilbert got kicked out by UT because they didn't think he was good. They gave him to SMU because they couldn't get the talent out of Garrett Gilbert. He goes in the league after being semi-good at SMU, not UT, because UT didn't think they could get any talent out of him. And all of a sudden now he's actually a fairly decent backup quarterback in the NFL, and you're giving UT credit for that.
You know what?
I agree. UT is notorious for kind of giving up hope on quarterbacks that are fairly decent. I will say that. And they shouldn't be giving the UT the credit for that. They should be giving SMU.
They should be, but I'm going to still give him the credit.
Oh!
Because I never won't go for the Cowboys, and I won't go ever for the Texans. I won't go for any of them. But if I had to choose between them two, it would be because of him. Yes. I will agree, though.
Gilbert isn't a bad quarterback. He's legitimately. They almost just beat the Steelers. People aren't taking into account that Garrett Gilbert is actually showing as a very fine. I don't want to say very good, but he almost beat the Steelers without Ezekiel Elliott going nuts.
Yes,
he made some great throws, and he piloted a almost win, an almost victory. That defense had some part in it, but that defense sucks, and I think it's fantastic that they're able to find someone like Garrett Gilbert. But what I'm worried about here with Garrett Gilbert, I'm worried about Dak. You know why? He was on a franchise tag this year, right? He wasn't going to sign a contract with them until they gave him the tag, right? He doesn't, at this point, he wants to get a deal done. The Cowboys, though, are not willing to give him what he wants, which I think most of the time you should give Dak Prescott what he wants, because he is a good quarterback. He's a great quarterback. I believe, there was this amazing stat. He still leads Lamar Jackson in passing yards, even though he got injured in week 5. It's crazy. This guy is a fantastic quarterback, a Pro Bowl level quarterback, a Super Bowl level quarterback. I feel like he could beat a lot of teams if they ended up getting there.
But are they?
But here's the deal. Literally, the deal. If the Cowboys don't need Dak Prescott isn't going to... If Garrett Gilbert manages to beat a team with at least 2-win, winning record multiple times, which I could definitely see happening, Garrett Gilbert has finally actually started to mesh with these wide receivers a lot more than we would think. Like he had some dimes to these receivers. I feel like Dak might be on the free agent market going into next season.
I actually kind of saw that as soon as his injury happened. It kind of went through my mind. He's like, he's done. He gone.
Well, here's the thing, though. Like Andy Dalton, I was like, all right, they're not going to keep Andy Dalton or Benvenucci as their starting quarterback. They bring in freaking Garrett Gilbert, and now all of a sudden Garrett Gilbert, the fourth stringer out of SMU, and I will never say UT, is really showing up, at least in the one game that we've seen him. Obviously, they had their bye this week.
Like, we got to see if he plays again, because, he might not. I think they've said he might not start this coming up weekend.
It would be very stupid of Mike McCarthy to do that.
Stupid. I honestly think they should play him first. Like,
one sec, I'm gonna look this up.
But yeah, we'll just see how he does. That was just one game, and it was against the Steelers. So honestly, shows how well he played. But at the same time, it's the Cowboys.
All right. This one is a for sure curious decision. It's official. The Cowboys have made the decision on Andy Dalton as the starter, even though Jerry Jones says, and I quote, Jerry Jones thinks that Andy Dalton brings the same things to the table as Garrett Gilbert, but as a much higher level, which I honestly 100% doubt. Andy Dalton, he has thrown, in his games that he has played, 1 touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
He has thrown a single touchdown. Go over to Garrett Gilbert. Let me look at his stats for. He's thrown in one game as many touchdowns as Andy Dalton has in 4.
Mm-hmm.
It shouldn't be that hard of an option. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. This should be a pretty easy choice, right?
Pretty easy choice. When I heard that was a possibility he wasn't going to start, I was like, you've got to be kidding me.
Yeah, I feel like Jerry Jones. This is all on Jerry Jones. I feel like Jerry Jones.
It's always on him.
Jerry Jones, let's be real. He's an awful person.
It's an awful person. Come on. And maybe the Cowboys could do something, but.
Yeah. Saints Niners, it was kind of a blowout. Drew Brees got hurt. A rib injury. He broke multiple ribs, which at first sight isn't as big as an issue as you would think. But he was also dealing with a shoulder injury, and the news came out yesterday that he had a collapsed lung. He had a shoulder injury going into this game.
I don't know.
And here's the thing: Sean Payton has actually left the QB competition open. Could this be the birth of a new type of offense run by a guy like Taysom Hill?
But I think so.
Yeah, they're still leaving it open as, if you remember a couple seasons back, Jameis Winston had the most touchdowns out of any quarterback, as well as yards, I believe. But here's the thing. He threw 30 interceptions.
I don't know what's going to happen here, but 2020.
It's your turn, Casey. It's college football time. Let's go. Let's go to the college drawing board.
I mean, I'll be pretty brief about this. Baylor versus Tech, started out pretty slow game. I didn't think that much was going to happen. Baylor basically, they lost by a point. So that was pretty rough. Yeah, it was 24-23. Tech pulled through the last quarter. Tech made a touchdown, but then they tried to do a 2-point conversion, but they failed that for the fourth quarter. And then it was Tech made another field goal attempt at 46 yards. So that brought the game to 23-21. And then the final, it was the clock was run out. It was Tech at the field goal. It was a 23-yard field goal. They did it. That's how they won 24-23. I mean, it was a pretty uninteresting game besides Tech turning the game around at the last quarter. And then as for the other Texas team, TCU, West Virginia killed TCU 24-6. Yeah, that was a wipeout. Wipeout. And then I guess we're going to see Texas next week. They are playing Kansas. I mean, they should
the worst freaking team. Hook 'em.
Yeah, they should win that game without a doubt, honestly.
Oh, this is what we said a couple years back when they lost to Kansas.
But Kansas is 0-7.
They were 0-7 then too.
Lucky here.
Well, you know what? I have high hopes for Texas. I do. Let's hope that they got enough practice in during their bye week, even though they're supposed to be like resting. Let's hope that they actually did something this week to prepare for it. But yeah,
I'm knocking so freaking hard.
Yeah, so
on my wood desk.
I will be watching that game, eyes to screen, the whole time this coming weekend, and we'll see how Baylor does too, and TCU. After that knockout, I don't know how they're going to do the rest of the season.
Alrighty, so here is our question. We're going to grab the crystal ball, so to speak. We're going to ask the prophet question, and you guys got to guess what his answer is going to be. Our question to the prophet is, how long will Drew Brees be out? Just for some extra context, his optimistic report says 2 to 3 weeks.
No.
I think he's out for the season.
Yeah.
I would have to agree with you there.
He got
follow up. Will his career be over? He's gotten older. This injury is something you can recover from, but at this point, I feel like you wouldn't want to I feel like there'd be part of you that'd be like, you know what, I wouldn't want to have, a bad season. I'm trying to compete with Tom to, come out with the best stats as a QB. Although I feel like that also might be part of it. But what do you guys think?
A collapsed lung in general, that's something that's really hard to come back from. So, you look at the recovery time. Yes, he's going to be out this season because of the recovery time, but after an injury like that, it's not the same, especially when you're playing a contact sport.
I honestly don't think he's going to come back for the season, and I'm pretty sure he's just going to be brushed to the side right after. It's going to be a whole nother Romo situation here, and my boy's not, I feel bad to say it, but I don't think he's going to get any luck out of this.
Well, I have a feeling so I'm kind of with what you're saying. He's probably going to come back and play. It's not going to be the same, though.
Mm-hmm. He's not.
It depends, honestly, on what Tom Brady does.
You think he's going to base his decision on playing based on what the other old man is going to do?
Yes, and here's why. Both of them are like number one, number two all the time. Yards, touchdowns, completions, all of this stuff. It's Tom Brady and Drew Brees at the top, and any given game could put one or the other ahead. So it depends on what Tom Brady does.
I see that.
If Tom Brady comes ahead in a lot of those records, and then it doesn't matter what Tom Brady does. If he retires or if he stays playing, Drew Brees is going to want to come back and get those records. He's
going to want to come back, but at the same time, it's like...
I don't think he'll be able to be, the same. He's 40-something.
You go to something like that at that age, it's just coming back from something like that, it's just going to be hard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but, let's move on to what we thought was our worst play of the week. AKA, you had one job. Alexis, I was really watching for the worst play, so I want to hear what you got to say.
Man, God, I'm not worst play or literally like the worst everything. I'm gonna give it to the Titans and their kicker, Gostkowski. He's got 8 missed field goals this season. Like, come on, you have one job, literally. Like, you literally have one job, and it's to kick a field goal. And it's just like, you're in the NFL. I mean, it's Titans, but at the same time, it's like.
Another frustrating part is like kickers get cut after missing 2 field goals.
No! Like, jeez!
And they have held out hope for Gostkowski longer than I thought. I think Gostkowski is what we call washed. He's big time washed.
I'm just so over it. I'm like, you literally have one job and you can't do it. Like, why do we still have this guy out there?
Yeah.
Jeez, it's so sad to see, especially since NFL it's pro football. Like, come on now.
Well, thank you everyone for tuning in to our first episode of the Drawing Board. That's all we got. Tune into our next episode. I believe it'll be coming out next Tuesday, and then we're probably going to switch to a regular Tuesday-Thursday schedule, with Thursdays being a kind of preview of the NFL and college, and then a review being on Tuesdays. And if you'd like to join us, contact the Dittmar Recreation Center at 512-974-6090, or email Alexis at alexis.tovar@austintexas.gov to get you started with us. Please, we'd love to have you on as maybe just a caller, a guest, anything like that. If you do this kind of stuff, I'd be pleased to have you on. And I guess signing off, Sam Chipman here. I'm alongside Casey Rice and Alexis Tovar. And we're going to say good night, good morning, good afternoon, and have a good week.
Okay.
Yeah. Peace
Bye,
out.
guys.
This has been the Drawing Board.
The Drawing Board.
The drum.
Drum.